Hey folks, I'm E.W. Jackson, candidate for United States Senate here in Virginia. My job over the next several months is to make sure that Tim Kaine never returns to the United States Senate, to defeat him at the ballot box on November the 6th. And I wanted to come out and talk to you about something that's very, very big in the news right now and very important to every one of our citizens, no matter where you might stand on the issue, and that is gun control. The Second Amendment and what should be the approach of our government and our laws toward firearms. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I was trained on an M16 rifle and a .45 automatic. And I am a gun owner, and you could say I'm a gun enthusiast now. But I want you to know something. I have never pointed a gun at a human being, ever in my life, because I don't want to hurt anybody. I enjoy firearms. They're sports tools for me. I enjoy target shooting. I'm not a hunter. I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some hunting at some point. But I also think they're important for the potential defense of my life and the life of those I love, my family. But you know what? Your life too. Because frankly, these are tools that I'm about to show you. And the purpose of them is not to take life, but to defend life when they're in the hands of the right people. And I tell you, it breaks my heart when things like what happened down in Broward County happen and 17 young people lose their lives. It breaks my heart when people are innocently gunned down by some madman with a gun. But as a law-abiding citizen, it also breaks my heart that my fellow citizens think that I'm the problem and want to take away my right to bear arms because some person full of evil decided to do the wrong thing with them. Are we going to take trucks away from those who use trucks to kill people? Going to take knives out of every kitchen because some people use them to kill people? I mean, at some point we got to come to the realization that it's what's in the heart, not what's in the hand. And for you young people out there who are so caught up in this gun control frenzy, let me tell you something. When a bad guy comes to hurt you or your family, what you need is a good person who is armed and ready to defend you and your family. And I believe that's what the founding fathers had in mind. They had in mind your personal God-given right to self-defense, and they had in mind our God-given right to resist tyranny that would seek to take our lives and take our freedom. Now, one of my pet peeves, because I think this is vastly misunderstood, is this whole concept of assault weapons. As you all know, some cities, some states even, are moving to, quote, ban assault weapons. Now, nobody quite seems to know what an assault weapon is. So let me tell you what I think they have in mind. This, folks, is an AR-15. I own this. Now, it is rendered harmless. You can't perhaps see it from there, but there's absolutely nothing in the chamber, and there's absolutely nothing, no magazine in the weapon at all. It is incapable of firing. It is completely and totally harmless. So you call it an assault weapon implies that somehow it's inherently assaulting, but it doesn't inherently do anything. Right now, it's just an inanimate object in my hand. But I'll tell you something. Bad guys have Uzis, they have Tech 9s, they have AK-47s, they have all kinds of weapons. And when they decide to do people harm, there's only one thing that stops them. Somebody who is equally well armed and capable of using a firearm. When that individual went into that church and started killing people, there was someone who saw him, who came and met him as he departed that church, his killing spree, with apparently one of these. And this became a weapon of righteousness to stop the bad guy who was out to do people harm. Folks, every firearm, every knife, every car, every truck is an assault weapon in the hands of somebody who wants to use it to assault people. It's a meaningless term. And so when people say, well, we want to ban assault weapons, I don't even know what they're talking about, because what they really ought to be talking about is keeping firearms out of the hands of people who are mentally ill and full of evil. That's where our attention needs to be focused, not keeping firearms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Now, this is a shotgun. Again, it's rendered completely safe. There are no cartridges whatsoever in it. It can't hurt anybody. Now, most people would not say this is an assault weapon, but folks, a shotgun cartridge full of pellets is probably more dangerous than that AR-15 because it's capable of firing only one round at one target at a time. This spreads out and can hit almost anything within a certain radius. It is really not aimable in the traditional sense of the word, because no matter where you aim it, it's going to catch things to the left and to the right of that. And we don't call this an assault weapon, I guess. But it doesn't really matter what you call it, because again, in the hands of a person who's full of evil, it is an extremely dangerous instrument. But in my hands, as I've said before, it's never been pointed at anyone. And I never would, unless someone tried to hurt me or tried to hurt my family, or broke into my house, tried to hurt someone I love, or again, tried to hurt you. And I was there and capable of defending you, I would do it. Now, one of the oft heard answers to this whole problem is we've got to ban high capacity magazines. And folks, the only people who say that are people who've never used firearms, who don't know anything about them. Because look, I am not a firearms expert, okay? I'm not a novice, I'm not a beginner, but I'm not an expert. I know experts. I mean, they're people, they know firearms in and out, and they just know them through and through. They are experts. I'm not an expert. But folks, this is a Glock 19. This holds in the magazine, and again, notice it is rendered completely harmless because there's nothing in the chamber. There's no magazine, and notice that the magazine is completely empty. So this is incapable of hurting anyone. Safety first, always. Now, this has what's called a high capacity magazine because it's 15 rounds. And so people say, well, we need to ban that. And I guess ban that for something like this. Now this is for Glock 43. This holds only 6 rounds. But folks, here is what I want you to understand. And as I said before, I'm not an expert. Again, there's no bullets in it. I'm not an expert, okay? I'm at best maybe an intermediate in my understanding of and use of firearms, okay? I just put a magazine. The magazine is empty. Once again, the magazine is empty. I just put the magazine into my Glock 19, okay? All right. The chamber is now closed, okay? The slide is now forward. Now let's say that some bad guy has one of these, okay? And he wants to do harm to people. And you're saying, well, he shouldn't have one that holds 15 rounds. So he should have one that holds maybe only 6 like this. Folks, I'm an intermediate. If someone is shooting people, boom, 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 and they shoot 6 people and they run out of weapons, here's how long it takes an intermediate to change out the magazine. Boom, 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 boom. So do you really believe that by limiting it to 6, which once again, nothing in the chamber, boom, 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 out of magazines. You have another one, you load it in, and boom, 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 and you continue firing. Folks, when people are evil, all they got to do is practice a little bit changing out a magazine. And you really think that's going to stop them from hurting a lot of people? No, you know what it does? It just stops people like me who like to target practice, and I want to have 15 rounds in my mag. I'll shoot maybe 5 or 6 and see how I hit on the target, maybe shoot a few more. It's a convenience for me. You're never going to stop criminals from doing people harm by creating rules that they're never going to follow. The law-abiding citizens will probably follow those rules, but they'll be the ones inconvenienced because they will follow the rules. The criminal will not. You know what I believe? I believe we got to come back to focusing on what's in the heart, not what's in the hand. Because if what's in the heart is right, it does not matter what's in the hand. I'm holding a firearm right now. I wouldn't hurt a fly unless that person was trying to do harm to me, my family, or as I said before, you. Because that, to me, is not what this represents. It represents my God-given right to self-defense. It represents sportsmanship. Some of the nicest, kindest people I know are firearms owners and experts, not out to hurt anybody. So, look, I just want to make a plea. You gun owners out there, you get it. You Second Amendment folks out there, you get it. But to you people who don't get it, I want to make an earnest plea to you. Don't punish us law-abiding citizens because of what criminals do. Let's go after the people who are really trying to do others harm. And I think if we do that, our society is going to be a safer place to live. If we start actually paying attention to people who with suicidal and homicidal ideation and who are talking crazy, we can stop a lot of this stuff before it happens. We know that now. But don't disarm the law-abiding citizen whose only desire is to enjoy firearms as a matter of sportsmanship and defend life and family and even not only from criminals, but even from those who would tyrannize us and try to take away our freedom. I hope it never, ever, ever comes to that. But that's what I believe the founding fathers were providing insurance against. Thank God in the United States of America, we perhaps more than any other people on the face of the earth don't have to worry so much about that. But nevertheless, it is there as a safeguard. And I think that as a constitutional republic that really believes that sovereignty is in the hands of the people, that's where our founding fathers placed it, we never want to take away the right of the people to arm and defend themselves. These firearms I've just showed you, they're not going to hurt anybody. You know why? They're under my care and keeping, and that's not what I have them for. But if you take these away from me, believe me, there are bad guys out there who will have plenty of them, and they will do them to harm you and me and our families and our children and our wives and our grandchildren. And we better be ready to stop them when the moment comes. And we've seen that with the right person with a firearm, when some evil individual decides to start killing people, the right person with a firearm can put it to a stop. And that's what we ought to be focusing on, making sure that every law-abiding citizen who wants to be armed can be armed, and making sure that criminals understand that if they set out to kill people, they are not going to do it unscathed, and they're not going to do it in places where they can be assured no one will be able to fight back. We want every American to have the right, whether they choose to or not, to have the right to fight back. So God bless you. I'm running for U.S. Senate here in Virginia because Tim Kaine would take away every firearm you own. He would have people knocking on your door to take it away if he could. We need to get rid of him. And I really believe that I'm the right candidate to make sure that he goes. As a matter of fact, not to put too fine a point on it, but we know there's a lot of violence in the inner city. But you know what? The violence is not coming from law-abiding citizens. It's coming from the thugs and the killers. Because the law-abiding citizens in inner cities are, by and large, disarmed. And you're never going to disarm the criminal. The only thing you can do with them is lock them up, or if nothing else works, you end up having to kill them because they won't allow you to do anything else with them. So let's make sure that we keep our focus on developing our hearts in our care and our love for one another. We don't want to hurt each other. We want to help each other. But let's not take away our God-given right to defend innocent life. That's what it's all about. The primary is on June 12th. I am asking for your vote because I will defend your Second Amendment right to defend yourself. I'm asking you to support me. Go to my website, ewjackson.com, and make a contribution. I'm asking you, most importantly, to pray for me because I really believe that our country is in desperate need of prayer and desperate need of a move of God. And I am hoping that God will move in this election and awaken Christians all over the Commonwealth to stand up for your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, the whole Bill of Rights, to stand up for your constitutional republic that has been given to you by Almighty God through our founding fathers, and get out and vote in unprecedented numbers. Everybody you know, everybody you can get, create a wave, create a movement that sweeps Tim Kaine out of office and saves the Commonwealth of Virginia from another 6 years of his so-called leadership. God bless you. I'll see you on the campaign trail.